have to make adjustment he'll make this offseason going from that position to more in the box, that hybrid position? Is there something that he'll have to really work on? What's the biggest difference?
Well, the biggest difference is just fundamentals and technique. That's all it is, and just reading things a little bit. I mean, for Marche to go from safety to you're moving up a little bit closer, so things are going to happen a little bit faster. So it's just a matter of recognizing things a little bit sooner than what he was, and then also But I think when you have somebody like that, now you gain something because you got a bigger guy that can blitz and do different things. So, but to me, it's just you're moving up a little bit. You're not in as much space, but you got to react to things a little bit quicker.
What do you think of the conference moving to Dallas? Any impact?
That doesn't. I mean, to me, that has no effect on us. I mean, if they feel that that's the right move and financially the right move, then that's something that they. I mean, I don't ever have to go to the conference office, so unless I get called, I haven't been called to the principal's office, so it'd be nicer. I mean, if I did get called, then you come to Providence, you can drive instead of getting on a flight.
When you talk about breaking into that cartel, what would be a signal in coming years that real progress has been made towards that?
I think the commissioner, said what he said today. It's you're gonna find out when this television deal. That's what you're gonna find out, because that's what it is. Because all of a sudden, if you get that, but again, I'm not sure exactly what the date is on the college football playoff when that comes back up. I don't know if it's 2026 or whenever it is, but I mean, as long as that's in place right now, they're not gonna change that, and add somebody and take away money from that. But one of the big things and he said it today, a lot of it's going to be you're perceived in terms of the money that you get. So the amount of money that will be distributed to the schools with this next TV contract, I think that's gonna say a lot, because TV drives the bus for the most part. Then if that happens, then if you could keep doing the things on the field, then I think that helps to continue to push the agenda forward.
So this fight that he's already so animated about will be a prolonged, an 8 or 10 year fight.
I mean, again,
because of the way it's structured.
Yeah, I mean, I would think. I mean, when you take a look at the way it's structured, and unless all of a sudden are they going to rework their deal and the rules that they have in place now to, to elevate our conference to, the same thing as the other conferences? That's something. The only people that can answer that are the college football playoff people. That's the only thing that they're going to, that can answer it.
Randy, what are the differences between building the program originally, what you did 10 years ago, versus what you're facing right now?
Really the conference, and not in a bad way. I'm saying it, and really from a recruiting standpoint. I mean, it's one of the things is that it's a little bit more difficult recruiting now than what it was, just from what you hear. Everybody thinks they're a Power 5 kid. It was before we were in that arena. Now we're not in that arena. We got to fight a little bit harder, and we got to work a little bit more diligently and continue to do a good job of evaluating. But that's the biggest difference, facility-wise. The teams that we play. I mean, this league is very, very good. Top to bottom. And now, granted, there's more teams. It might be even a little bit stronger than what the Big East, was at the end there. So, but the biggest thing is just from the recruiting, not having that same brand to go out there and recruit with, because of what everybody did. And again, all you got to do is go to ESPN. It's all about the Power 5. You go to ESPN college football, the webpage, there's nothing on there about anything other than the Power 5 schools, and it's mostly the ones at the top. It's not even the other schools in those conferences for the most part. So I mean, and that's what everybody sees every day. So that's what's made it a little bit more difficult this time around. And you know, and again, I mean, but very reminiscent coming in, and you know, people didn't mind the store, so to speak. And so we went from here to here, and now it's easy. It doesn't take long to go from here to here, but to get back up, it takes a little bit more time. And ultimately, you do it with players, you know, and that's what it's all about. You know, facilities, yeah, there's some things that they didn't take care of that we have to just continue to refurbish and do some things there, but that isn't major because we didn't have the facilities when I was there before. You know, so that part isn't the issue. The issue is we got to build the brand back up of not only the league and convince people that, hey, you can come here, probably a better fit, you got to play more, okay, better opportunities, and you can still accomplish everything you want to accomplish. But everybody's mind is like this, you know, they think Power 5, you know, and so I'm not going to, you know, even though this might be better, I want to see if, you know, well, if this school from this Power 5 school or Power 5 conference is going to offer me before I decide I want to come.
I guess they need to see what's happening with Ed Oliver.
Huh?
They need to see what's happening with Ed Oliver.
Yeah, I mean, and there's guys that, I mean, and
yeah.
the one thing is we've proven we know what it takes to develop kids, and that's what it's all about. People, you know, the world has changed. Everybody wants instant gratification, instant success, but everything's a process. You know, everything's a process that you got to build and keep getting better. And I'd rather go to a school where I know people are going to be invested in me and they're going to develop me. You know, because you go to some of these schools, you get there, and if you're not what they think you are, boom, they're putting you down the list, and all of a sudden they're going to get the next guy, and that's one of the reasons why I see so many people transfer nowadays. You know.
You know, talking to your players yesterday, they did mention a number of times knowing that you built a program, you've done it before, and having a confidence in you that they wouldn't normally have maybe with somebody else.
It's nice to hear, and you know, and but it's true. I mean, I know what it takes, and that's what we tried to tell them when we first got here. You know, but you got to work for that though. Just because we tell you this, you still got to go work and you got to earn it, and that's what I love about these guys and what these guys have been doing, because that's what they're you can see and hear them say that even further tells me that they've bought in, you know, to what we're doing. And you know, the other thing that helps too is by bringing former players back. You know, can you imagine? You're at a school that's had a lot of success, and they didn't even welcome the former players back. I mean, that just blows my mind. You know, because anytime that you have success, you know, you want to have people around who've been successful so they can share their experiences. You know, Dan was here yesterday, Orlowski, and he saw Matt and Marche and Donovan and all those things. The more we can do that stuff, and those guys say, hey, just do what you're supposed to do. Yeah, it's going to be hard. You might call him an SOB, you know, but guess what? Just do it, and it's going to pay off, you know. And you got to sacrifice. Look what, you know, this is what we had to do, and look where we got, you know. And so that's what I said. That's what's, you know, I'm probably a little bit more excited this year than I was last year at this time, because again, you've been around long enough, okay, and you can see the signs. Now, does that mean we're going to go undefeated? No, but at least, you know, you feel good because you see exactly what's taking place, and you know it's going in the direction it needs to go. And if you're going to be any good, it's these guys doing it. It ain't me, because I'm going to give them the direction, and my coaches are going to give them the direction. But if I don't have those guys enforcing it upon themselves, or he holding the other guys accountable, it don't mean anything. And that's what happened. That's why we got good the first time, because we were able to instill that same type of culture, you know. And then guess what? Our job was easy. We didn't have to do. And that's the other thing. Right now, my job is easier this year than what it was a year ago, because they're taking the message and running with it. And when you have that, at least you got a chance. Got a chance. Doesn't guarantee success, but at least you got a chance.
So you mentioned player development, and now with Brian Sheriff's moving on, can you assess your quarterback situation?
Yeah, I mean, I'm very happy with David Pindell. He's our starting quarterback, unless somebody beats him out. It's his job. He's done a really good job of working to get better. Very quiet kid, but I think I know he feels very comfortable with what we're doing offensively. And likes what Coach done in terms of how we do things and how a quarterback reads things. I'm excited to watch him perform this year, and then we gotta find out who our backups are going to be. We got a bunch of young guys who've never played before, and so we gotta develop them as well as continue to develop David. But David, the one thing we have to do is we got to allow David to use his creativity, because the one thing that he's capable of doing is to make something out of nothing. He's got good feet. He's got good escapability. Not that we want to run him 20 times a game or anything like that, but there's times where he can do things with his feet that puts a little bit more pressure on the defense, which is going to help us, from an offensive standpoint. And but I'm anxious to see him go out, because I think he ended up having a pretty good game against Cincinnati and took the team down at the end and scored, and then we had lost our mind there for a minute. And but I'm anxious to see him, because I think he's improved, and he's a guy that wants to do well. He's a worker. He's a guy that wants to do well.